Well, here in South Mississippi, we kind of live in a retirement community, and a lot of those individuals who are retired are from here, and they may need a little bit of assistance getting through the day-to-day, and that's when family often comes in to save the day. I've got Kimberly Campbell with us here from AARP Mississippi. How are you, Kimberly?
Hello, doing well. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. So AARP is kind of, that advocate for those individuals 50 and older to kind of help them ease through the I don't know, the latter part of life, I guess is a better way to put it. I'm getting there, so it's hard for me to say that phrase because I'm only 3 years from 50, so it's it's a personal thing for me. But so let's talk a little bit about those individuals who have those family members that are stepping in to be those caregivers.
That's great. So here in the state of Mississippi, roughly about 100,000 Mississippians are considered family caregivers. They provide roughly 440 million hours of care. So that is a huge group of us. And here's the interesting thing about family caregivers, especially in a state like ours, is that we are now in the sandwich generation. So, in past generations with our parents and the baby boomers, life was very set, right? It's like you didn't have to take care of loved ones until your children were probably even out of college. Well, now because we are living longer, we're working longer, and also we're getting married later and having children at older ages. So because of all those changes in how we live, we really have what we call the sandwich generation, which is now you have a person that's myself, 53, I still have a child in middle school and high school, and I also have parents who are 85. So I have already been a caregiver for my mother. She's no longer with us, but when she was still alive, she was in my home and I had to take care of her. I was still working full time and I also still had children to raise. So this is something that's happening for all of us. And I tell people often that here's the thing about family caregivers. You will either become one day, or you will be someone who needs someone to take care of you one day. So life is very cyclical. And so what we do with AARP is that we really make sure that those family caregivers have resources in place to help them along their journey. Now, advocacy-wise, whether it's our federal family caregiving work that we're doing right now on Capitol Hill, or even our state level advocacy work that we do here in Mississippi to provide, we're pushing a federal family caregiver tax credit. We're hoping that would get across the finish line, and we're doing different things on the state level. But we do have resources. So aside from advocacy, we have resources that we want to make sure that people are aware. Currently, AARP is also in partnership with the United Way, and we have begun a program called the 211 Caregiver Program. And that program is absolutely amazing. So for instance, if you were to call 211 on the helpline, you can now ask for resources and access critical places, and where you can go if you are in need of caregiving resources. And so that is an excellent program to really help people.
What advice do you give those family caregivers who are trying to balance? Because you said you've done it, so you have subject matter expert experience balancing life, work, caregiving, raising kids, cooking dinner, the whole 9 yards.
I know we've heard this saying before, but when you fly, when you're on an airplane, even they tell you, that's one of the things that the flight attendants will say. Even if you have your 3-year-old child sitting next to you, if the oxygen mask falls, put it on yourself first, which of course, as a mother, as a parent, you would think, no, why would I do that? I'm going to put it on the child first. But they tell you, no, put it on yourself first, because if something goes down or something happens, that child will need you to be the one to assist them. The child can't help you, So if mom passes out, the child can't do anything, and now the child is in trouble. And so caregiving is very much the same thing. I tell people, don't go at this alone. I know many of us are type A, we're executives, we're business people. You cannot do this alone, and you have to make sure that you take care of yourself first, because if you are not physically well, mentally well, emotionally well, you will not be able to provide the support that your loved one needs. So don't go at it alone. I want to tell people that they can reach out to the AARP Family Caregiving Resource Line. That number is 877-333-5655. 5885. And you can also go to the AARP Mississippi Facebook page and find tons of information. Again, you can dial that 211 and that will set you up with resources. But also you need to build a team. So you need a support network. You need friends, you need family. You know, many of us have friends that are nurses, or we know someone that does something that can help us, you know, weed through the medical stuff. You know, I'm also an attorney. And so even before I was a caregiver for my mother, I helped other friends because I did a lot of estate work, and I understood, you know, especially if you're about to get to the point where someone may become incapacitated, there are things you want to get in place before that happens so that you can make sure you have the legal right to make decisions, to access, you know, finances. And so it is more than you can ever imagine when you really become a true full-time caregiver. Do a gut check. Again, this is not for everybody, you know, and I don't think people need to feel bad about that, because I always say, if this is not for you, if you honestly cannot do this, you will not do it well. And I would want you to bring in professionals to do it. If you're not able to do this, this is not the job for you to do. Again, legally, get paperwork organized, get legal papers in place, make sure that you know where everything is and you can put your hands on it as quickly as possible. Know your limits. Know when you may need to have someone to come in and help clean, or, you know, someone to come, you know, help dress your loved one, and understand, again, what are their Social Security, you know, benefits that they may have, you know, or Medicaid or Medicare that can help with some of their needs, and so that to, you know, even things out just a little bit with what you may financially be doing. Take some time for yourself. There were times when I was my mother's caregiver that I knew, okay, today's one of those days where I am about to pass out. And I knew I need to step back, right? I've got to go out with my children, right? Go have some fun, go get some ice cream, you know, go watch a movie, and not feel guilty about that. I make sure I had people in place that would be, you know, at my house to make sure that my mother was well. But I knew I had to step back from it because I had to continue to be well for myself, for my children, and for my mother, and even for my father, because it was difficult for him watching my mother go through what she was going through. And again, realize that there's always help and resources available. Again, reach out to the AARP Family Caregiving Resource Line, 1-877-333-5885, and you can request the AARP Family Caregiver Resource Guide. You can also follow AARP Mississippi at www.aarp.org/ms.
Give them a call. Kimberly, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.